let's get into another sneaky one. Let's move to the wide receiver aspect of this because I know we only had one wide receiver team that we want to talk about, but let's talk about a sneaky team. And we've talked about this team before, and specifically in regards to their wide receiver room as well. That is Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
They've sneakily acquired some talent there. Not only have they brought in talent, but it was a little disappointing. I thought that wide receiver room was going to perform better last year, and part of that was Taylor Shuck getting hurt and having to bring in Baron Morton. But did they upgrade is the question because you did lose some talent. You lost a wide receiver in the portal to Boston College. You lost one going over to Indiana. Actually, probably your two most productive receivers. But you bring
Two
in
most
Josh.
talented. Xavier
Yes.
White was technically the most productive, but I believe he's graduated.
Yeah, so you lose your three most productive receivers. And you're like, how is this a sneaky good team? Well, that's exactly why it's sneaky. That's
Yep.
exactly why his wide receiver room was sneaky. Micah Hudson as a true freshman, right? We know that there's a lot of hype that's building around there and a lot of projection, but you want to believe that as a true freshman, he can have an impact the way that he had an impact throughout his high school career. He was unbelievable, absolutely highly sought after. It was an unbelievable win for Julian McGuire, getting Micah Hudson to come to Lubbock. How about Josh Kelly?
I,
I love Josh Kelly.
I'm proud to say we're fanboys of Josh Kelly. Like everything he does, we love. We eat it up. And I watched a lot of Washington State last year, and Josh Kelly just popped every time they played, and he made Cam Ward look pretty darn good. And not that Cam Ward needed help, right? But Josh Kelly was so good. Another guy that we did a video on Josh Kelly right in the transfer portal, and we were like, how did he not have more going on? And if he did, how did Joey McGuire convince him to come? Because that was super, super impressive. Because Josh Kelly would be an immediate upgrade over a ton of playoff ready teams this year.
Yeah. And if I know me, as I'm editing this in post for the YouTube channel, I know for a fact ahead of time that I'm pulling Josh Kelly highlights from Oregon State, and y'all are watching him right now. Just it's spectacular catch after spectacular catch. He's a good route runner, solid hands. He's just a good football player, man. Really good, really underrated. We'll see if Baron Morton can get him the football this year. We'll see what that offense can do. But regardless, I think independent Caleb Douglas, I like a lot. Coy Eakin is a guy who produced for you a little bit last year, and at least he's familiar in that building and knows the offense. I think this is a sneaky wide receiver. Not the best. It might not even be top 20. Who knows? But this is the wide receiver room that I don't think anyone's talking about that we wanted to talk about. And it's so sneaky because you lost all of that production last year, right? And of course, you're talking to the guy who was insanely high on a particular receiver on that Texas Tech team last year. And he underperformed a little bit, but I am willing to buy more Josh Kelly stock. I'm willing to dump that stock and buy all of the Josh Kelly stock. If you're selling Josh Kelly stock right now, I will buy it. I will buy it. And I'm not just saying
Absolutely.
like from a production standpoint, I think like NFL teams should really give this kid a look. I think they should really give him a look.
And also just an impact of your offense to have a just uber reliable receiver to open up Taj Brooks in the running game and to give Baron Morton, who was a young quarterback last year, an experienced quarterback, some help. And he comes into year two, being the guy after coming in for Tyler Shuck after being injured. They move on from Shuck. Obviously, Baron Morton steps in, a guy that McGuire very, very high on, right? Looking to make the next step. And also, I'm going to throw two more names out there for you. Dre McCray, guy I like a lot, who had 30 catches for you last year, did this nice things, and Brady Boyd, a guy that's another very reliable hands for you there. Yes, he hasn't gotten a ton of production, but I think he's going to have a nice year this year. A guy, if you remember, went to South Lake Carroll, where Quinn Ewers teammates with him there. Obviously, started at Minnesota, went to Texas Tech, did some nice things at times for both schools. So the depth is there, the top end talent with Kelly, and then the the untapped ceiling that is Micah Hudson that can really elevate this offense. no wonder why they're a sneaky team, right? And yeah, I'm glad you throw them in there because they need to be talked about a little bit more and what they can do. And like we mentioned with Colorado and their wide receiver room, the Big 12 does not have the best cornerbacks, right? And so there are defenses to be susceptible to this offensive attack. And I think Texas Tech can have a real nice year with this wide receiver core.
I agree 100%.